Well, deep in the heart of Texas, always good to see the Mariner colors as folks enter Globe Life Park for the finale of this three-game series. The Mariners and the Texas Rangers. Welcome to Mariner Baseball here in Root Sports. Good to have you with us in Arlington, Texas. Dave Sims along with Mike Flowers in the Root Sports crew. Happy Felix Day to you all. Felix on the mound against Derek Holland. An outstanding pitching matchup today. Here's a look at the Mariner batting order that will face Derek Holland.
Leading things off, it'll be Ketel Marte. Then it is Kyle Seager. Kyle, a lot of success in this ballpark. Nelson Cruz, the DH, hitting third. Then you have Cano, the cleanup hitter. Franklin Gutierrez batting fifth. Trumbo getting the start at first base. He will hit sixth. And then Smith, Stephan Romero, first career start in center field. That is happening today. He will bat eighth, and Jesus Sucre will round out the nine. For Derek Holland, he has struggled in his last few outings. You see his ERA at a 3.77, 3-2 record. Again, he's been on the DL most of the year. Only 43 innings pitched for Holland. But he's given up 5 earned runs in each of his last 2 starts, one of them against the Mariners at Safeco Field.
And we are ready for action. First pitch. Off the plate for a ball to Ketel Marte. Ben May's got balls and strikes today. Chris Guccione at first, Jeff Nelson at second, Corey Blazer at third. Marte slashes one the other way for a base hit. Boy, sprayed the ball around all over the place. Really good stuff, Lynn.
Take a look at the defense brought to you by American Family Insurance. Will Venable getting the start in left field. Drew Stubbs out in center. And Chu, the right fielder, strong arm in right. Beltre, the Gold Glover, at third base. Andrews and Odor playing up the middle. Mitch Moreland, the first baseman, and Bobby Wilson will do the catching for the Rangers this afternoon. See his last outing against the Astros. There it is. 5 2/3, 5 earned runs, just 1 strikeout for Holland.
Here's Kyle Seager, 3-game hitting streak. Picked up a base hit last night in the 3rd inning. Just 1 run for the Mariners last night. The Goody home run leading off the 2nd.
Seeing Marte get that base hit, he probably had the best at bats against Cole Hamels last night. Cole Hamels was on his game. Marte a couple of doubles in the game. Also hit a ball deep to left field. Fine play by Will Venable to take another extra base hit from him.
Keep you abreast on what's happening in the Oakland-Houston ball game right now. Top of the 4th. A's and Astros tied at 1-1. Seager behind 1-2.
For Holland on the year, his average fastball is 93 miles an hour. Also throw a curveball, slider. Opponent's hitting just 147 against his slider, so the Mariners will probably see that pitch quite a bit this afternoon.
Marte back safely. Swing and a miss. Good breaking ball by Holland. Holland styling under that cap. What do you think, Mike?
I think it looks good on him.
Need a lot of help. Daily basis to keep that thing shaped up. Here's Nelson Cruz.
He's an entertaining guy.
What
was it, a couple of years ago he was doing the weather here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When we were in here the first time he was injured. Did a thing on radio with him. Give me some Harry Carey. And I know Aaron did some stuff with him last time in Seattle. There's Nelson Cruz. Breaking ball outside to Nelly. Fifth in hitting today, tied with Prince Fielder at 309 in the American League. August 19th at Seattle, 7-2 victory over the Mariners for Holland. 6 1/3, 8 hits, 2 runs. Struck out 6, didn't walk anybody as Cruz swings through.
Pretty good curveball from Holland.
Two 2-1 pitch. Down low.
The last couple of days we've talked a lot about the Rangers 2.5 game lead on Houston, how important these games are, and the fact that they are heading out to Houston after this series is over. But make no mistake about it, Lloyd would like to win this game and try to get his club back to 500, and I'm sure that the guys feel the same way. Try to avoid a losing season.
Down to Beltre. Odor over to Moreland as they go around the horn. That'll do it for the Mariners in the first inning. Happy Felix Day. He'll take the mound. He's got a 4-0 record against the Rangers this year with a 1.57 ERA. Let's see how he fares when we come back. Felix Hernandez looking for win number 18. It would make him the winningest pitcher in the American League. Jake Arrieta of the Cubs leads the majors with 19. Here's a look at the Texas Ranger lineup that Felix will face.
Kicking things off, it will be Will Venable. Then it is Choo. Choo has been a hot hitter. Want to be careful with him. The DH, Prince Fielder hitting third. The cleanup hitter, Adrian Beltre, has reached 10 of the last 11 plate appearances, so he's heating up as well. Then you have Moreland, Odor, Andrews Wilson, and Drew Stubbs rounding out the 9 for the Rangers. For Felix on the year, looking for his 18th win. 3.55 ERA, 190 innings pitched, 180 strikeouts for Felix this year. Opponents hitting .238 against him. And Felix also going for 7 years in a row of 200 innings, 200 strikeouts. The innings will not be a problem at 190.
Bouncing ball. Cano takes care of it. Flips to Trumbo, and Venable's gone on 1 pitch.
Take a look at the rest of the defense playing behind Felix this afternoon. Gutierrez getting the start in left field. Romero, his first start ever in center field. Seth Smith out and right. Kyle Seager is the third baseman. Marte at short. Cano and Trumbo on the right side of the infield. And Jesus Sucre will do the catching.
That's what Felix did in his last start. That was back home against the Angels. Strike 1 to Choo. Shin-Soo Choo. Can't get much hotter than he is. 12 for his last 16. 2 walks over his last 4 games.
That is hard to do in Little League, much less the big leagues.
Yeah, all right. Choo for his career .250 hitter against Felix with a home run. There's the strike. 2-2.
For Felix this year, his average fastball has been 92 miles an hour. Of course, the great changeup that he'll throw at 88. So just a 4-mile-an-hour separation from his fastball to his changeup.
Puts it in play to Cano. Smoothly handled. 2 away. We've had hotter days here in Texas. The sun is not beating down upon us thanks to these clouds. The lights are on here at Globe Life Park. And there's some rain in the area, but it's north of us and expected to stay in that realm. Should be able to get this game in without a problem.
And the Mariners have the shift on, so Fielder trying to bunt his way on.
All right, Mike, we've been around long enough to see it. Prince Fielder trying to lay down a bunt.
And we'll take a look at it again. The shift is on Marte out at the shortstop position, but Kyle Seager, normally at third, is playing over on the right side of the infield, and he was trying to steal a base hit.
He's a baseball lifer.
I'll tell you this,
a great player.
I saw his dad steal a base.
Atta baby.
Yeah.
Big Daddy. His father could wallop him, huh? Prince 2 for 22 against Felix. Cecil Fielder, man,
he could hit it.
He's been vulnerable to that off-speed pitch this entire series.
Well, that was a good changeup, and it was down out of the strike zone, which is good to see. Felix will throw his changeup about 30% of the time. His curveball percentage has gone up this year. Last year he was at 16%. This year he's at 22%. And there's a good reason why. The league this year hitting just 135 off of his curveball, slugging 167. It's been an excellent pitch for him.
Other games of interest in the American League. Toronto 3-3 with Boston. Top the 8th in Toronto. Yankees Mets later on tonight. Angels trailing at Minnesota 3-0 top of the 4th. Strike 3 call. A 1-2-3 inning for Felix Hernandez. Needs just 12 pitches. First inning is over. Here on Root Sports, being brought to you by Alaska Airlines, 80 non-stop destinations and growing. By Safeco Insurance. Find a local agent at safeco.com. Do more. By the Emerald Queen Casino, presenting Sinbad September 25th. Tickets at emeraldqueen.com. And by your local Ford stores. Robinson Cano to lead things off here for the Mariners. on a 91-degree cloudy day here in Arlington, Texas. Fouled off. Cano, a career .371 hitter against Derek Holland with a home run.
I think that one was right off the toe.
Yes, indeed. Bobby Wilson, the catcher.
And even though they have that padding down there, that still hurts.
Cano and home plate umpire Ben May and Derek Holland all yielding a few extra seconds for a recovery. Time call. Cano, Goody, and Trumbo 4, 5, and 6 here in the second inning. Mariners have already won the season series against Texas. They come into today with an 11-7 record against the Rangers. 5-3 here. 6-4 in Seattle. 2-2 pitch, hit foul. Mariners will head to Kansas City. Day off tomorrow there. We'll play 3 games. And the barbecue emporiums have been served notice that the Seattle Mariner party is en route. Waiting with open arms and hungry cash registers. Two. Work away, missed. Full count. Second 3-ball count by Holland. Payoff pitch. Ball 4.
Take a look at the pitch selection for Holland. See his fastball right around 60% of the time. Average fastball is 93 miles an hour. He will hit 95 at times. See a slider. That's his best off-speed pitch, and he throws it a lot, right around 20%. Mix in a changeup and a curveball. Already seen a couple of curveballs from him. For the right-handers, he'll also cut his fastball from time to time. And he likes to pitch inside and open things up for the changeup. Franklin Gutierrez, all the offense for the Mariners last night. Hit a solo home run, his 14th home run on the year. Hit it off of Hamels, dead center on a changeup, 3-2 changeup.
Nice job. Good topic of conversation in the media session with Lloyd McClendon. Talking about his integrity, about last year he could have come in and tried to fake his way through it. And he said, no, I don't have it. I'm not coming in. Sit the year out. He said he could have come in and collected a paycheck last year, didn't do it this year. Lloyd told him, says, listen, you're not going to make the club coming out of spring training. Go do what you got to do to get healthy. And boy, he has just been fabulous since coming up. So he's played a lot more than anybody anticipated. And the way they work it, Lloyd goes to him pretty much every day. Can you go? And he said it's only been about 3 times that he has told Lloyd or called him even before leaving the hotel or leaving home, I can't do it today.
Well, I think for him, we've even seen him play against some right-handers, which they certainly weren't expecting to happen because they had to limit the playing time, so they wanted to save him for the lefties. But because he's been able to play more than they expected, he's been in there against some right-handers, been very productive.
Big bang for the buck, that's for sure. 32 years old now. Not the center fielder he used to be, as Trumbo waits on deck. They play him in left field now. Ankylosing spondylitis. That condition's not going to allow him. He's not the player he was a few years ago.
He doesn't have the speed that he used to.
Big Niehaus just going death to flying things. Here's ground ball. Andrews. Odor, another tailor-made double play. And there have been a lot of deep hits. 2 today. And the Mariners hit in a 4 on Friday night.
It's just a good fastball. A little bit of sink to it. And you can see it was hit to Hopper, right to Andrews. That's about as easy as it gets. So 2 innings, 2 double plays for the Mariners.
Brings up Mark Trumbo. He had 5 career home runs against Holland. 318 hitter against him. Mark 0 for 4 last night. Took something off of that pitch. Beltre throws him out. Double play, big part of that inning, as was the first. No score here in Texas. When you head to Safeco Field on Friday, October 2nd, you could be flying out of the ballpark with 2 round-trip tickets courtesy of Alaska Airlines. It's one of dozens of prizes that will be given away all night long as part of Fan Appreciation Fireworks Night. So stop by Mariners.com/fan for tickets. Here's the battle. 2 good friends. Felix Hernandez, Adrian Beltre. Beltre at 256 hitter with a home run against Felix. Got hit by a pitch. I believe that was the first trip in to Seattle back in April. Hit to Marte. 1 out. Bring up Mitch Moreland. Moreland with an RBI. He had a single 8th inning last night. Mariners won the first game 3-1. James Paxton went 4 1/3. Then the bullpen. Farquhar, Kensing, Elias Smith, and Will Humpson did a great job holding Texas to just 1 hit and striking out 5. The bullpen not as successful yesterday. Dom Nuno went just 3 1/3. Rangers win 10-1. on 14 hits, and they left 13 men on base.
I think the key to both of those games, listening to you talking about that, is the bullpen has had to work a lot these first 2 games. So hopefully Felix can get deep into this one. Although I'd like to see him get at least 7 innings out of him today if he can.
You know, it's 5 for 5 at first pitch strikes. They're nearly going. Boy, he charges that one up big time. Slicing drive out of here. Got it on a 1-1 pitch. Mitch Moreland, his 22nd home run, RBI number 79, 1-0 Texas. He did a opposite field home run against Houston earlier in the week.
I think it's a changeup. 87 miles an hour. We'll take a look at it. It is the changeup. Out over the plate, and he just went with it. Line drive home run. Moreland, his 22nd home run on the year.
Rangers 7th in home runs in the American League. That was number 155. Here's Odor, second baseman. Two out. Fourth home run given up to a left-hand hitter, Felix. 413 feet is how they measure it. Three and 1 to Odor, the 6-hole hitter. Elvis Andrus on deck.
2-0 count. He came back with the changeup. Didn't give in to him, giving him the fastball. See what he'll do here at 3-1.
Trumbo missed. Odor safe. Sort of a no man's land. It was slowly hit enough that he wasn't going to be able to make a grab and flip the field.
No, that was not going to be the play. And I think you have to recognize the speed of Odor, and that's the reason why Mark charged it so hard. He wanted to get to it and be able to tag him because he was not going to be able to get it to Felix in time. And unfortunately, he thought he actually had it.
Gotta like the thought process. E3.
That was the only play he had.
Yeah. As we've seen, and we admire Odor for being a full tilt guy. Here's Andrus. Whoa. Odor 5 for 11 base steal. Andrus a good bunter.
He's hit Felix well. 294 in his career. It's a lot of at-bats, too. 85 at-bats against Felix.
'47th start for Felix against Texas, most against any opponent. 16-21 record for the King. Strike 2. Andrus not thrilled by the call.
It's a pretty good pitch. He's right on the inside corner.
Odor taking a bigger lead. He takes off. Seager's got the one play. Now Odor's going to try to beat him to third, and he will. No throw by Trumbo. Two away with a man at third.
I think this is a good play by Mark Trumbo at first base. You can see Kyle having to range over. Marte went to cover second base, and it was going to be a close play. As Odor continues to run, Kyle trying to get back after making the play, but wasn't going to get there in time. And the only bad things were going to happen if he tried to throw the baseball. You have 2 outs. Let Felix finish up the inning.
They had to hit a moving target.
Yeah, no.
Catcher Bobby Wilson. Glare of the clouds, how much an effect might this be on the outfield?
I think it actually helps them today, as opposed to the sunshine that they normally get here. I think they'd much rather have this. They're going to be all right.
Bobby Wilson. Felix has got him in a 1-2 hole. Wilson 3 for 13 career against Felix. Now 3 for 14. Inning over. Run, hit, error, and a man left. It's 1-0 Texas. The third time now for a Geico this date in MLB history in 1998, after nearly 16 years of not missing a game. Cal Ripken Jr. takes himself out of the lineup against the Yankees. It ends his consecutive game streak at 2,632 ball games. Nobody's touching that one. I like what you said last month, or I guess when we were in Baltimore, said nobody wants to do that one.
No. And managers don't want their players to do it either. And I can remember when Kyle was going through that, there was a lot of discussion about, especially at times when he was struggling.
Yeah.
And maybe a day off would help him out. He certainly disagreed with that. You never really know, but I think a lot of managers would like to have the opportunity to rest guys when they want to. So I just don't think that you're going to see it again.
1-1 here to Seth Smith, leading things off. He's behind 1 and 2. Smitty Romero and Jesus Sucre. Third. Holland 11 pitches in the first inning, double play. 16 pitches in the second inning, helped by a double play. We didn't like that call. Ben Maya. Call up umpire, rings him up. Holland with his second strikeout. 1 down here in the third. Bringing little leaguers to see the big leaguers at Safeco Field. While you're there, make sure to stop by the Seattle Children's Playfield. It's located in center field. Fun to be had for the whole family. Join us at the ballpark for Mariners baseball. Stephen Romero, first time ever center fielder. Looking to break an 0 for 13. Talking about Ripken and playing all those games and nobody wanting to break that record. A day off for mental rehab is good for baseball players getting this grind, right? 162 games in 180 days.
Well, I think, you know, if you look right at the Mariners and you have Cruz, Cano, Seager, those guys are in the lineup just about every single day. You've already seen Cano have to battle through an injury or two this year. Same with Cruz. But even Kyle, you go through struggles in this game, and mentally you need the break. And,
yeah.
I think that's one of the things that makes it so difficult.
And I know for 28, it's a product getting a rut, right?
I think so. I think sometimes just mentally, you know, this game is a grind. They play it every single day. I think sometimes, especially when things aren't going particularly well, it makes it more difficult when you're somebody like Kyle that's going to play the majority of the games.
Popped up right field. Choose under it.
And I think sometimes just having that day off to sit back, watch the ball game, be relaxed, makes a world of difference.
I've heard stories over the years, and you might have had it happen to you. Hey, don't even come to batting practice. See it first pitch, right?
I know guys that happened to. You bet. I can remember one time Lou telling me I was struggling, and he told me, he said, you're not going to play for the next 3 days. Get your work in every single day, but I don't want you to worry about you're not going to pinch hit unless we run out of bodies. You're not getting in the game. Just relax. And I came out of that and started hitting again. Now, whether that was the reason or not, who knows? But I felt that it helped.
But the time off with, you know, the mental break, you're not on edge, right?
Right.
You take that away, and that loosens you up right there alone, right?
And when you get back in there after a couple days off, it feels like a different look to you.
Yeah.
Just to start over again.
Sucre line drive into the gap. All the way to the fence. Look at Sucre. He's going to get an extra base hit. Jesus Sucre with his 5th double of the season.
And the second base hit for the Mariners this afternoon. Gets a fastball. Probably right on the inside corner and able to get the barrel to it. Solid line drive into the gap. We've talked about it throughout the series. This is a very fast outfield. The ball will get to the wall in a hurry.
You Creedence Clearwater Revival fans will remember the lyric from Green River. Pick up a flat rock, throw it across Green River. And that's what this outfield's like.
Marte has the other base hit. Started the game off with a single to right. A couple of hits in last night's ball game. A couple of doubles for Marte. He steps into the batter's box hitting .289. Nice series for him. 5 for 9 in this series.
Catcher Bobby Wilson makes the play. The Mariners are done in the 3rd. No runs, a hit. No errors, 1 left. 1-0 Texas. Here in the finale of this series, the rubber match. Hey, it's now time for you to tweet your strongest fan photo. Use hashtag RTNWDataStrongFan, and you just might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast brought to you by T-Mobile. Good to have you with us here in Mariner Baseball. Cloudy day, but comfortable here in Arlington, Texas. Felix on the mound against the Rangers. He'll face Drew Stubbs, Will Venable, and Shin-Soo Choo, 9-1 and 2 in the order. Stubbs 3 for 6 career against Felix.
He came into the game last night as a defensive replacement, and having that bat ended up with a base hit on a ball that he hit pretty firmly towards third base. O'Malley was at third at the time and still beat it down. He can get down the line in good shape, and because of that, Kyle Seager playing even with the bag at third.
Stubbs coming over from Colorado. Batting wise, having a miserable year. 216, 5 homers, 10 runs batted in. 51 games over there. 13 games here. 083, 1 for 12. Two and two. Already had that one. There's a drive to left. Base of the fence. Stubbs with the leadoff double. Drew Stubbs, first double as a Texas Ranger.
And this is going to be on the changeup. 87 miles an hour, middle of the plate. Will Venable going to step in. Kyle Seager in at third, expecting the bunt here with the leadoff double.
Venable grounded out to Cano. Shows bunt, throw down to second. Sucre, yes sir, got him. Good throw by Suki. Well done.
Well, he has one of the stronger throwing arms in the league. Unfortunately, that was right on the money, too. Easy play for Marte. See the secondary lead that Stubbs in the beginning, but he put it right on the money. Perfect shot right there.
Better than that.
No,
it's outstanding.
About chest high all the way down there.
Man, what a seed that was. 3-0 to Venable. Venable is 4 for 27 against Felix. And a 4-pitch walk. First walk by Felix today. 1 out, 1 on. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Seattle Mariners and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Seattle Mariners.
Rick Waite's making a trip out to the mound. Felix, I think he's unhappy with the home plate umpire. There were a couple of pitches that I think he thought were strikes that were not called. At first I was worried that maybe he was hurt because Sucre came out from behind home plate before Rick Waite went to the mound. And typically when that happens, it's because they see something. Obviously, if there were any physical issues with Felix, Rick Waite would have called the trainer out, so that's not the case. I think maybe just a little frustrated right now.
Let him breathe, right?
Yep.
Big pitch number 40. Tough hitter in Shin-Soo Choo. He grounded out the Cano. Strike one. Ball one, Chew. Venable, a runner at first. He ran a little bit when he was with the Padres. 11 out of 12 in stolen base attempts. 2-1. Runner goes. Rolled by Sucre. Safe. Stolen base number 4 for Venable as the Rangers 4 for 4.
Pretty good jump by Venable. Strong throw again by Sucre. Clearly beats it. It looks as if he keeps his hand on the base.
Jeff Nelson, crew chief, out at second base with the call. Go through the signs again. 2-2 pitch coming to Chew. Fielder on deck. Full count. Fielder Romero stepped towards left for Chew as this one fouled back.
Felix not giving in to him. It was a curveball and a 3-2 count.
Way off pitch. Bounce foul down first base line. Yesterday by the Mariners ended their 3-game win streak against Texas and the Mariners 6-game road winning streak. Last 17 games, Mariners now 11-6. We pitch number 8 here to Chew. And back-to-back walks. First and second for Fielder. 1 out.
One of the things we talked about before the game, Felix in his last outing against Texas pitched really well. He went 8 innings, giving up 3 hits, but he did have 4 walks in that outing. He was also able to pick up 8 strikeouts. So already a couple of walks here in this one.
So here's Fielder called out on strikes to end the first inning on a 2-2 pitch. So they had a discussion with Ben May, who played umpire, recent call up. Fly ball left field. Goody's under it. Makes the catch, gets it back in. And there's 2 away. They bring up Beltre, grounded out to shortstop in his first at bat. Rangers lead on a Mitch Moreland home run in the second, a 1-1 pitch. 413 feet center field. Crunched a changeup. Two men on for Beltre. Felix ahead. 0-1. Ball one. One to Beltre. Chop foul handled by Tony Beasley, third base coach. Ball two strikes.
We started him with a curveball for a strike, missed with the fastball inside, came back with the changeup right there. So Sucre wants to be clear on what he wants to do right here. Here in the early going, it looks like Felix has really good curveball working for him.
I'm on 2 hits, no errors for Texas, no runs, 2 hits and an error for the Mariners. Big pitch here at 1-2 to Beltre. Fouled off.
Another changeup.
Beltre, a dangerous hitter, 15 homers, 62 runs batted in. 1-2 pitch. In the dirt, 2-2.
It's 3 changeups in a row. I thought maybe he'd try to get into that inside corner with his fastball again. He has good run on his fastball. It's been 3 changeups in a row.
This will be the 25th pitch of the inning. 2-2. Bounced up there. Boston just defeated Toronto 4-3. Justin Smoke striking out with a man aboard. That was in Toronto. Yankees play the Mets later on tonight. Yankees starting the day 3.5 behind first place Toronto. Good spot here. 3-2 to Beltre. 2 out, 2 on. Runners go. Pitch. Fly ball left field. No problem. Gutierrez under it. Felix survives. Walking 2 and giving up a leadoff double to Stubbs. 1-0 Rangers. Wild card chase with the Angels and Minnesota breathing down their necks as we look at the Delta Airlines American League West standings. 2.5 behind Texas. Angels 4 back. A lot of big games still to be played.
And the Rangers going to Houston right after this game is played today for 3.
The wild card chase starting today. Angels a game and a half behind Houston. Minnesota 2.5 back.
Minnesota's lost 5 in a row.
Yeah. Kyle Seager bounces one foul. Fielded by Chris Woodward. Twins have a 5-0 lead against the Angels as we speak right now. Ball 2 to Kyle Seager. 5-0 Minnesota. They play in the bottom of the 5th. And the Twins have the bases loaded. Kansas City moving closer to clinching. 10-3 lead at Detroit in the 8th. Magic numbers 4. Odor can't stretch out to get that. A base hit for Kyle Seager, extending his latest hitting streak to 4 ball games. Make sure you keep up with the pennant races in true HD quality on MLB.TV Premium. Watch every out-of-market game live on more than 400 supported devices. Real-time highlights, live look-ins, pitch tracking widget, and more. Visit MLB.TV today. Man aboard for Nelson Cruz. Bounced into a double play in the first inning. Every young Torrey Hunter, his 21st homer earlier in that Twins ball game. 40 years old, and was reading some Nick Conforto in the Boston Globe today, and he was quoting sources saying that the Twins gladly welcome him back for next year. He's been obviously a big asset in the clubhouse as well. 40 years old, 21 homers, not too shabby.
I heard him talk about that the other day, and Torrey was saying that he was going to play the season out, go home and relax for a little bit, and make his decision on what he wanted to do.
Season, if they don't make the playoffs, we'll go see Little T play at Notre Dame.
Yeah, there you go. I imagine the Twins will probably try to talk him into playing again.
And Terry Ryan brought him back. Oh, they will put a full court press on him. Four-pitch walk to Cruz.
He's doing exactly what we thought we were going to do. All those pitches inside. Didn't want to give him a chance to extend his arms and walks him. Last pitch 91 miles an hour in off the plate.
A real threat here for the Mariners.
Good situation for him.
A bloop, a walk, and now see if Cano can add a blast here. 1-0 on a home run by Mitch Moreland. Mitch Moreland back in the second inning. Robbie Watt leading off the second for the Mariners. Seager back. That a throw from Bobby Wilson. Good bluff. Cano.
His first at bat, he went with the inside fastball early in the count to get a strike, and then it was the slider off the plate away. So if he goes back to the breaking ball, maybe get one in the middle of the plate that he can handle.
Chop foul. With 5 career home runs here at Globe Life Park. Career against the Rangers, he's got 13 long balls. 116 hits. Two on, nobody out. Odor deflects it. That's a base hit. Seager will hold it. Third, now he's going to try to score, and he will. Going to third is Cruz. So Odor did the Mariners a favor deflecting that, slowing it up before Chu could come in and get it. Chu, as you know, has got a plus arm. Got a tie ball game at 1-1.
And it looked like he was able to get the hit on the breaking ball, elevate a little bit out over the plate and hit it hard. Kyle, I think when he rounded third, wasn't sure if Odor was able to make the play or not. Take another look at it as he dives for it. Dave, you're absolutely right. That was a huge break for the Mariners, because I don't think Kyle scores or even tries to score if he gets by him without him touching it. Chewing his throwing arm.
And by the time Kyle was reading Rich Donnelly, and he had the big stop sign, and then he turned and looked and said, wait a minute, I can do this. There's Goody with runners at the corners. Nobody out. A run in, tie ball game. Take a look at this. Our Seattle City Light power play. Best season at bat home run ratio in franchise history. Minimum 5 home runs. Greg Perkins, Goody, Dave Valley, and Ken Griffey Jr. a couple times on that list. Val making a pass through here. Val was hurt at the start of the '86 season. And Val was telling Curtis Wilson, producer, that he hit 30 that year if he hadn't got hurt early on.
Good to see Val today.
Down to visit his daughter here at school down in Texas. Goody battling 1 and 2 against Holland. Chance to get the lead. Cruz at third and Cano at first. Long foul ball. Count goes to 2-2.
He again is trying to stay in on his hands. Everything inside.
Goody with 5 hits. Won a home run against Holland. Two pitch. A piece of it. This will be pitch number 61 coming from Holland. Good inning so far for the Mariners. Base hit to right, a walk, and RBI single to right. Took him out. Nasty breaking ball. Third strikeout for Holland. And there's one away in the fourth.
After all the fastballs inside, not able to lay off of this curveball that's down. That's where he's trying to throw it. Right at his back foot. Franklin swings over the top of it. Give Mark Trumbo a chance to drive in a run. Mark grounded out to third his first time up.
Over in the National League, Cardinals lead at the Cubs 4-2, top 6. Pittsburgh just underway at the Dodgers. Ball 1 to Mark.
See the splits from Holland. He hasn't been real sharp today. Having a tough time getting his fastball in the inside corner. He's missing off the plate inside with it. There it is again.
Trumbo with a good count. Time to wail away. One out, runners at the corners. Ball gets away. Cruz coming to the plate. He will score standing up. Ball gets away again. Beltre backs it up. The Mariners have the lead at 2-1. Cano advances to second.
And it's the breaking ball. Looks like the curveball again. Good look at our Alaska Airlines Supermo, and the curveball buried in the dirt. Get off the heel of the glove. That's when you would expect your catcher to keep in front of him. So a break for the Mariners.
So a wild pitch allows the go-ahead run to score. Meanwhile, Trumbo's got a 3-0 count.
Felix, after having to throw a lot of pitches in the bottom of the third inning, get a nice rest in the dugout. Mariners have been hitting for a while.
Here we go, 3-0. Ball 4. So runners at first and second. One out. Seth Smith took a called third strike. Will be the next hitter. Right now, Mike Maddox. Some words for his starter.
I think more than anything, just give him a little bit of a rest, regroup. Looks like he's frustrated, lack of fastball command this afternoon.
Here's Seth. Struck out looking at a 1-2 pitch to lead off the third. One out here in the fourth. Struggling with the breaking ball, 1-0. Smitty looking to do some damage here. Pitch. He's ahead in the count, 2-0.
Holland is really struggling. 67 pitches. He's now thrown more balls than strikes.
That was his 25th pitch of the inning. Pulled down to Moreland. Goes to Andrews. Holland covering. And they get him. 3-6-1 double play. But the Mariners do get 2 runs on 2 hits. No errors. They didn't leave him in. Felix has a 2-1 lead. Number match of this series, we take a look at the Mariners calendar, brought to you by Sleep Country USA. And the Mariners, day off tomorrow in KC, 3 games there, then see the Angels over the weekend and wrap up the road portion of the season. And then Houston comes to town, and the A's will wrap it up.
Get the feeling that those 3 games against Houston at Safeco Field are going to be big for them.
You know it, because they have these guys starting tomorrow.
And for 3.
Yeah. No telling what's going to happen in this final couple of weeks.
Well, let's see if Felix can settle in now. Last inning, bit of a struggle. Couple of walks, gave up the double, was able to get out of the inning, but had to work extremely hard, throwing a lot of pitches in the bottom of the 3rd inning.
Moreland took him deep, left center field. First time up, worked inside and missed. Works away, gets a strike, 1-1. Upcoming schedule for the Astros. They're at home the next 3 games against the Angels. Rangers over the weekend, next weekend. Then they come to Seattle. And they'll wrap it up against the Diamondbacks. Ground ball backhanded by Moreland, leads Felix. Good operation. All the way here in the 4th. Here's Odor. He's done an error by Trumbo in the 2nd inning. Sucre showing off his arm earlier in the ballgame. If you're just joining us, Drew Stubbs led off the 3rd with a double to left center, with Venable at the plate, bunt in order. Venable tried to bunt, but Sucre threw down to 2nd. Picked off Stubbs at 2nd base. Felix has given up 2 hits. The home run to Moreland and the double to Stubbs. Walked 2, struck out 2.
And it's the 2 walks that's cost him on his pitch count so far. On the flip side of it, Holland, probably his pitch count will be a lot much higher, but he's had 3 double plays help him out this afternoon.
Mariners have bounced into 7 double plays in this series. Big hack.
Good changeup right at the bottom of the strike zone. He was out in front of it.
Two and 1. A good pitch. Lot to like about that changeup, but boy, he disguises it so well.
He does, and he's had a really good curveball again. His fastball command has been okay today. It looks as like overall he has really good stuff. It's a good fastball just off the outside corner.
Two balls, 2 strikes. Rougned Odor. That could be and is trouble. Odor can scoot. Ball all the way to the fence. He's got minimum 3. And they'll hold him there. His 7th triple. And Merrill in his first career game in center field.
Well, we'll take a look at it. Again, it's the fastball down. It's a good pitch on the outside corner. And Romero trying to get to it. Not sure if he would have stayed on his feet and taken a different angle, if he would have been able to cut that off or not. It was too far away from him, and we talked about how fast the outfield is. If he had done that, maybe holds him to a double. Cardinals have to bring their infield in now.
And Andrews, good bunter. You like Eric Ibar, you never know.
And you have good speed at third too, so you never know.
Takes a strike.
And because of that, Trumbo's playing about as close to home as you possibly can. He is way in at first. You can see him well in on the grass.
That'll get it done. It's like the Luis Gonzalez game-winning hit in the World Series for Arizona some years ago. 2-2 ball game.
Rangers first base hit with a runner in scoring position. They're now 1 for 4. And looks like a changeup in off the plate. Jams him. That is right off the knuckles.
56th RBI. Duly noted in the scorecard that that was a Jamski. There's Bobby Wilson. Andrews will run. He's 20 out of 28. Struck out on 1-2 pitch in his first at bat. Two ball game. 1 out, 1 on. Mariners could use a double play here.
If Felix throws him a couple of sliders off the plate away, he'll probably pick up a strikeout.
In this series, Rangers have hit into 3 double plays, while the Mariners have hit into 7. This will be pitch number 70 coming up.
Pitch.
Needed it. Third strikeout. There's 2 down here in the 4th. We have another high school football game coming up next Thursday, brought to you by Acura of Bellevue. Tune in to see the Kentwood Conquerors, the Kentwood Conquerors. We're going to battle the Kentridge Chargers, 8:30 p.m. Pacific. Don't miss your favorite local teams in action this season right here with sports. Popped up out of play local.
Good fastball in on his hands. Stubbs hit a double base of the wall and left his first time up. Sucre was able to pick him off with a strong throw down to second.
Stubbs batting in the 9 hole today, getting to start center field. Twins still lead the Angels 6-0, top of the 7th. He certainly has Felix's attention. He's been bouncing around.
He was trying to time it right there. Had a walking lead. Trying to time him to home.
Strike 2 to Stubbs. Good lead by Andrews. Now Felix gets him back. Runners in scoring position numbers. Mariners 3 for 15 in the series. Texas 8 for 29. Runner goes. Great jump. Throw to second by Sucre. Heck of a play by Cano.
It was a great play by Cano.
That was impressive.
And still tried to make the tag after picking it. I thought just keeping it in front of the infield is good enough. And he certainly does that. But then you can see him spin around and try to put the tag on him.
2 outstanding plays.
There's another look at it.
I don't see many guys make that play.
No.
2-2.
Lloyd still waiting to see if they want to challenge it or not. It's hard to tell. If he tagged him on the shoulder, he's out, but I'm not sure that he did. And it looks like they're going to let it go.
Two outs. Fast runner at second and Elvis Andrews. 2-2 count here to Drew Stubbs. It's the go-ahead run. Count runs full. Venables on deck. Here we go. Payoff pitch here to Stubbs. Strike 3 called. Felix with his 4th strikeout and a big one. A run on 2 hits, no errors, and a man left for the Rangers in the 4th. And a tie ball game at 2. Pittsburgh Sports being brought to you by BNSF Railway, sponsor of the BNSF Blast. Good to have those Mariner fans with us here in Texas. 2-2 ball game, top of the 5th. The rubber match of this series. Here's Stephen Romero showing bunt. His first game as a center fielder at any level. Flied out to right in his first at bat. Romero, Sucre, and Marte 8-9-1 against Derek Holland. We've seen Holland a lot sharper than he's been today, Mike.
No, you're absolutely right, and I think it's his fastball command. One, his velocity is down a little bit. Typically, we would see him hit 94, 95 a number of times. We really haven't seen that. A fastball at 90, and then usually he just lives on the inside corner, but he's having a tough time getting his fastball there. Let's see the Mariners take advantage of that.
Struck out 3, walked 3. There's a strike. He walked 2 in the 4th inning. Walked Cruz, and Cruz came around and scored on a wild pitch. Cano knocked in a run as well. A brief 2-1 lead for the Mariners. This is a base hit into the corner. Romero's got extra bases. Venable will get it back in. Stand up double. Stephen Romero to lead things off. He breaks an 0 for 14. His first double since being called up.
And this is one of the few times he's been able to get the fastball to the inside corner. But Stephen looks as if he's looking right in there.
Brings up Sucre. He doubled to the left center field wall.
Let's see if he can get a bunt down right here. Beltre in on the grass at third, expecting the bunt.
Sucre with 7 sacrifices this season. Team leader. Next closest is Brad Miller with 4.
The Rangers had the wheel play on right there. We'll see if they do it again. They didn't this time. Good bunt.
Really good bunt. Moreland throws to Odor. Sacrifice 3-4. Good job by Sucre. Gets Romero to third base. Really nice job. 1 away. Top of the order, and Ketel Marte. You gotta like what he's done. An Arco top tier performer. 9-game hitting streak, some good numbers.
5 doubles over the 9 games. Scored 3 runs. Picked up 4 RBIs. 3 walks, a couple of stolen bases. And you can see that the Mariners' record is 24-17 when Marte is leading off for the Mariners. He's done a nice job. So far today, he's 1 for 2. Had a couple of hits yesterday. 2 doubles for him. He'll get a chance to drive in a run. Rangers, I'm sure, will keep their infield in.
Infield moves up close. I can't remember the last time seeing Holland this erratic.
Well, right now he's at 76 pitches, and they have a right-hander getting loose in the pen. Looks like it's Ross Ollendorf.
Yep. One pitch. Good take. No bargain the super fast infield. Bring that infield up close, right?
No, it also opens up a lot of holes. Because it is so fast, really cuts down their range playing as close as they are.
That's number 80 coming up. Romero doubled to open up the inning, sacrificed over to third by Sucre. So Marte works a walk. That's the 4th walk issued by Holland, and here comes Mike Maddox again.
Made a number of trips out to the mound trying to help Holland out. He just has not been sharp today. More than anything, it's been his fastball command. Just has not been good.
They want to do something in the postseason. They really need Holland.
Yes, they do.
Now pitching for the Oakland Athletics. A blast from the past. Barry Zito in the ball game. Houston 3-1 lead. Bottom of the 8th in Houston. Now 5-1 Houston.
Barry Zito.
Yeah, he got caught up a few days ago. Yeah. Colby Rasmus hit a 2nd home run of the ball game. Kyle Seager with the chance to do some good work here for the Mariners in the 5th. 1 out, runners at the corners.
Kyle with a base hit, 1 for 2 with a run scored.
Well, he's got to throw a strike at some point. Maybe throw one at Kyle to unleash a punt.
81 pitches, 43 balls, just 38 strikes.
Here's the 1-0. Long foul ball. It's a fair ball. That's what they were looking for. Romero scores. On his horse, coming around is Marte. Throw to the plate. Not in time. 2-run double. Kyle Seager and the Mariners have a 4-2 lead. He continues to torment Texas pitching. 2nd hit for Kyle today. Picks up a couple of RBIs. He's got 69 on the season.
And he turns on a fastball right in the middle of the plate. Takes advantage of it. See, Marte, he hesitated a little bit at first because he wasn't sure that Moreland wasn't going to be able to make the catch. And then he's able to come all the way around and score from first. A lot of fun to watch him run, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Flying.
They put Cruz on. A big knock by Seager. 2 for 3 day. Single and a doubles, knocked in 2 runs.
Another good series here. 3 games, he's picked up 5 hits so far.
It's Holland's 5th walk, 1st intentional. Cano with an RBI single off the glove of Odor back in the 4th, and a walk in the 2nd. One out, 2 on here in the Mariners' 5th. Foul ball. Kyle Seager now a .351 career hitter in this ballpark. On a 1 to Cano. 4 runs on 6 hits for the Mariners. 1 error, 2 left. Fouled off. As for the Rangers, 2 runs, 4 hits, no errors, 4 left.
Mariners so far 2 for 5 with runners in scoring position.
Astros 5-1 as they go to the top of the 9th against Oakland. Holland, the 1-2 pitch here to Cano. Way outside. Two from Holland. Slow breaking ball. Hit deep. Hit well. Goodbye. 3-run jack by Robinson Cano, and the Mariners have blown it open here in the 5th. 7-2 Seattle for Robbie, home run number 17. 4 RBIs today gives him 69 on the season, and that'll do it for Derek Holland.
Off-speed pitch elevated in the middle of the plate. And he made Holland pay for it. He was not sharp today. It's good to see the Mariners take advantage of it. We'll take another look at this swing. Breaking ball up, out over the plate.
Hit ahead. Perfect.
Full extension on it. He knew it as soon as he hit it.
So they blow it open here. Chase Holland 7-2. Mariners in the lead in the 5th inning. Felix Hernandez, Robbie Cano having a big day. Just hit a 3-run homer. He's got 4 runs knocked in on the afternoon. CenturyLink, what's next? It'll be the Kansas City Royals, the defending American League champions and soon-to-be champions of the Central Division. Iwakuma against Guthrie, Elias against Ventura, and Paxton against Johnny Cueto, who's struggled mightily in the last 3-4 weeks.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what Cueto looks like when the Mariners face him on Thursday. Guthrie's really struggled this year. A 5.55 ERA. Ventura, he's had his issues this year, was sent down at one point. Ross Ohlendorf going to take over for the Rangers. 14 appearances, ERA just over 2. 14 strikeouts in the 13 innings that he has pitched.
Off the glove of Bobby Wilson, ball 1. Goody bounced into a double play and struck out today. Drive deep to right. Going back is Chu on the track. And it's gone. A Goody goner.
Opposite barrel again. He has hit home runs in center field to right field since he's been back. The power has been awesome.
Wow, 15 home runs for Franklin Gutierrez, and the Mariners have an 8-2 lead.
He may have lost a step as far as speed goes, but he's gained some power. And 15th home run. Fastball 93 miles an hour elevated. Drives it to right head, just enough of it.
There's Mark Trumbo. There's a full windup by Oakland. Paul Bird, I think, was the last guy we saw do that.
Good call, Paul Bird.
About 07, a snow game, wasn't it, in Cleveland?
Yes, it was.
And in that game, I remember because Rick Riz and I were talking about, he did a double pump and we all flipped out. She was just running out of room, and there it goes.
So home runs in back-to-back days for Gutierrez. Wonder if that moves him up on that list Curtis gave us earlier. Get him ahead of Greg Perkle.
There's a drive right center field. That's a base hit for Trumbo. So 3 consecutive hits by the Mariners. A good job by Trumbo on a 0-2 pitch. Well, here we go. Adjusted to the moment. That's
separating some space between Val, too.
That's a great inning. Nick Martinez up in the bullpen now for Texas. Seth Smith will be the 9th man to the plate here in the 5th inning. And you know he wants some of this action. Mariners have had 3 consecutive hits.
Let's look at it again. 93-mile-an-hour fastball going the other way. And look at his home runs by direction. 6 of them to center, 4 now to right. So 10 of the 15 home runs. Middle of the field or to right field.
Equal opportunity slugger.
It's good to see. So far, the only out recorded in the inning is a sacrifice bunt by Sucre. That's it.
Darn good bunt, too. 1-1, Smith. Two and 1 from Ollendorf, who, like his left fielder, Will Venable, is a graduate of Princeton University. Ollendorf, 32 years old, out of Austin, Texas. Smitty to the gap. That'll get down. The Mariners have batted around. Four consecutive hits. 6 for the inning.
Logan Morrison going to come out and pinch run for Trumbo. And Mike Maddox is wearing out a path to the mound. Another trip to the mound for him.
All of this benefiting Felix Hernandez. Felix 8-2 lead. In good shape to get win number 18, which would be the most in the American League, and second only to Jake Arrieta of the Cubs, who has 19. Here's the guy that started it. Stephan Romero doubled on a 3-1 pitch to left field. 4 consecutive games now with a home run for Gutierrez. How about that? Romero, the 10th man to the plate here in the 5th inning.
Started the inning off with a double for Romero, and now in a good count again, 2-0 count.
I'll stay in the ballpark. Stubbs is under. Morrison goes back to tag. And he's galloping to third. Throw to second. Safe. Backside runner, the trail runner, Seth Smith. He also tagged. There's 2 outs. And a couple RBIs out there for Jesus Sucre.
Sucre 1-for-1, doubled in his first at bat. Sacrifice bunt in this inning. He's having a good day.
Strike one to Jesus. Way out front.
A couple of good breaking balls. Fastball's been knocked around a little bit, so he's going to the curveball.
Scramble there by Bobby Wilson. 1-2. Houston game's gone final. 5-1 Astros. The Astros certainly enjoying this score. Astros started the game 2.5 behind. First place Texas. 1-2 to Sucre. Ollendorf's been with the Yankees, Pittsburgh, San Diego, and Washington. Been up and down in the minors the last couple of years. 1-2 pitch to Sucre. Now time's called. Ollendorf's been bothered by back injury dating back to 07. Complications thereof. Bounced another one. 2-2.
Sometimes you can see it again. His fastball has been hit every time he's thrown it up to home plate. He just does not want to throw another fastball.
2-2 pitch to Sucre. Ollendorf's senior thesis at Princeton analyzed the cost effectiveness of Major League Baseball's first-year player draft. Mom, Vice President Legal Affairs at UT Austin. He's got an uncle who played for Bear Bryant at A&M at 54. Strike 3 called. Sucre's gone so are the Mariners, but what a great inning. 6 runs, 6 hits, no errors, a couple of men left. Homers by Goody and Cano. Mariners big lead for Felix, 8-2. just saw. Don't forget, stick around after the game for Mariners postgame presented by Delta Airlines. Brad and Bill have postgame interviews and analysis of this contest and this series. Angie Mentink will be down in the clubhouse. So look forward to that. Felix, they put on a show for him. Logan Morrison at first base now.
James Jones out in center field.
Top of the order, Will Venable.
It's a good opportunity for James Jones to get a couple of at-bats. He hasn't had a chance to play a whole lot.
Venable today's grounded out to second, walked and stolen a base. Felix is looking for a 1-2-3 inning here. Ground ball, backhanded by Cano. Away. Bark at the Park is back. It's coming up Tuesday, September 29th. The special offer includes a ticket, both you and your pooch, Mariners dog bandana, and an invitation for all the four-legged fans to walk around the bases post-game. It's all for only $40. Tickets available only at mariners.com/bark. There's two. 0 for 1 with a walk. If you're just joining us today, Derek Holland was not sharp at all. The Mariners took advantage.
He threw 92 pitches to get through 4 1/3. And only 43 strikes from Holland.
It's behind Chu here 3-0. Those are not good numbers for Holland. Not with playoff possibilities looming ahead his fielder waits. And 4-pitch walk to Chu. Second time he's walked. Felix, third walk. Walked Chu twice and Venable once. Brings up Prince Fielder, who struck out looking and fly to left.
Mariners will put the shift on with Fielder hitting. Felix having to throw a lot of pitches as he works here in the fifth. 1 out in the fifth. 83 pitches for him so far. 49 strikes.
Speed pitch. Felix a throw out fielder. Moving to second is Chu. 2 outs.
See Felix picked up a couple more strikeouts. We were talking about at the start of the game. Felix trying to get to 200 innings. He'll certainly do that. Had 190 at the start of this one. But 180 for a strikeout count, trying to get to 200 strikeouts. A few more strikeouts. Give him a chance in his last couple of starts to get to 200.
Felix has 4 strikeouts today against 3 walks. Giving up 2 runs on 4 hits. A home run to Moreland in the second. RBI single to Andrews in the fourth. Here's Beltre with 2 down. Runner at second. Strike 1. Felix ahead 0-2.
Couple of good fastballs. One on the outside corner. That last one you can see right on the inside corner at the knees.
Oh, comebacker. Flips the ball to Beltray. And that'll do it. Here in the 5th inning. Mariners have a 2 lead. Here's Phillies. At least Beltray didn't throw it back at him.
Wouldn't have been surprised.
Yeah, right? Root Sports being brought to you by Money Tree. Proud to make a donation to Mariners Care for every Mariners win. By Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. By Jack in the Box, for a limited time, try the new Portobello Mushroom Buttery Jack with melted garlic herb butter. And by CenturyLink, your link to what's next. Got a good thing going here in Texas. Mariners trying to win the rubber match. Got Felix on the mound and an 8-2 lead, top of the 6th. Mr. Ketel Marte to lead things off.
Nick Martinez takes over on the mound.
It's hit pretty well. Straight away, center, run down by Stubbs. Stubbs having a tough year in terms of hitting the ball, but he can run him down.
It's happened to Marte a couple of times in this series. Hit a ball out to left field that Will Venable was able to run down on the line drive, and he gives this a pretty good ride.
We've seen Marte scored last time up from first on a double by Seager. Man, he can run.
Kyle having a good day. 2 for 4, scored a couple of runs, has 2 RBIs. And the Rangers have the shift on with Kyle hitting.
Seager, a career .351 hitter in this building. And that's up to the minute. That counts as double in the 5th.
And he is aware of it. I think we've probably come here over the last couple of years when Kyle and maybe struggle a little bit, and it just seems he just automatically heats up walking into this ballpark.
Nick Martinez out of Fordham University. Here's a drive, right center field. Seager's done it again. Have a day. 3 consecutive hits, 3 for 4. Strikeout in the 1st, single to right in the 4th, double to right in the 5th, and another double here in the 6th.
And here's another look at it. Into the gap, another fastball out over the plate.
glad Kyle is signed long term with the Mariners, because if you're the Rangers, if he were a free agent, they'd have to bid for him.
They definitely would. Nick Martinez, 7-7 on the year, ERA just over 4. Opponents hitting .275. Offense giving up 16 home runs.
Cruz has walked and scored his last 2 times up. That will get through. Everybody's safe. Base hit. Right through the 5-6 hole. Brings up Cano with a couple of men aboard. We take a look at our Columbia Bank difference in the game. Boy, he jumped on this pitch. He knew it too. Immediately.
Just a hanging breaking ball, elevated above the belt in the middle of the plate.
Talk about having a day. Robbie's driven in 4. He is 2 for 2. Homer and a single, 4 runs batted in. And a walk.
And after the slow start, now has 17 home runs.
There you go.
Having a good series, 4 for 9. Let's get 2 for 2 today. His average back up over 280.
There we go. And there were many conversations back in April and May when he was slugging it. Lloyd McClendon kept saying, hey, you wait till the end of the season. Robbie's numbers will be Robbie's numbers. And what did we say? Remember, we looked up, he was a career .319 hitter in the second half in every one of his major league seasons, and he's above that.
Yeah, I think he's been better than that. Mariners this afternoon 4 for 9 with runners in scoring position.
Big change from the 0 for 5 in last night's loss. Good count for Robbie, 2-1.
Mariners already with 12 hits as they work here in the 6th inning.
Robbie hitting .323 here in the second half of the season.
So that is better, but I expected it to be much higher than that.
Well, if you take it probably just after the,
They started to swing it in June.
June, exactly, yeah. Okay. Left fielder Venable. Seager bluffs. Trey blocks it, knocks it down. Runners hold. Let's see what Goody can do. He's bounced into a double play, struck out, and hit a home run to right field. He's homered in each of his last 4 ball games. Cruz, by the way, with that infield hit a couple of batters ago, extended his hitting streak to 8 ball games. Strike 1. Big 5th inning for the Mariners. They sent 11 men to the plate, scored 6 times on 6 hits, and left 2. Two Mariner lead, top 6. 1-1 to Goody.
We talked about him hitting the ball the other way. He has a huge hole on the right side of the infield. A ground ball. Pick up another run for the Mariners.
He's got a lot of help with the wind blowing out, as almost always does here at Globe Life, blowing out hard to right. Flat stiff. A little of that current. Two out, 2-2 pitch with 2 on. Checking out. So no runs, 2 hits, no errors, and 2 left for the Mariners. We go to the bottom of the 6th, an 8-2 Seattle lead. Of the game, and look at little Kylie, her daughter Tegan, little cutie there. Thanks for sending that in. Felix Hernandez, beneficiary today of tremendous run support, 8 runs on 12 hits.
88 pitches, 54 strikes, probably going to be his last inning.
It's Moreland to lead it off. Mitch homered with 1 out in the 2nd. Led off the 4th and grounded out the 1st. This will be pitch number 90 coming up. Did not go as a check with Corey Blazer at 3rd, 2-0. Moreland, Odor, and Andrews 5, 6, and 7.
One-plate umpire Ben May has left Felix shaking his head a number of times today.
Young umpire. Call up. Felix has struck out 4, walked 3 today. And strike 3-1. Kansas City a step closer to clinching the Central. Win at Detroit 10-3. That's the Mariners' next stop. And a walk to Moreland. A 4th walk issued by Felix. The finals coming in. Here we go. Look at the standings. Toronto loses today. The Yankees play tonight. Chance to pick up a full game. Kansas City just won. Minnesota takes out the Angels 8-1. And then you look over at the wild card. Minnesota tied now with the Angels. And Cleveland not done yet.
And Cleveland plays Minnesota 7 more times.
Ooh.
The wild card far from over.
Yeah.
Minnesota has Cleveland for 7 games, the Tigers for 3, and then they finish up with Kansas City. And that'll be interesting to see what goes on there if Minnesota's still in it, because Kansas City probably going to get their club ready for the playoffs, and not sure they're going to see the regulars. We'll see on that.
Straight to Odor, 1-1. Rugnitz reached on an error and tripled to left center field. Tony Zick and Joe Beimel heating up. Take 2 to Odor. Swing and a miss. Beauty by Felix Hernandez. Strikeout number 5.
He's really had a good curveball today. Take a look at the 12-6 curveball. Odor swings right over the top of it, and that's typical of Felix's curveball. Talking about it at the start of the game. Coming into this game, opponents hitting just 135 against his curveball.
One out, one on. Mariners would like to turn their first double play today and get Felix out of this inning. Mariners have bounced into 3 double plays, one in the first, second, and the 4th. They have an 8-2 lead. Strike 1 to Andrews. Round out the 3rd. RBI single to center in the 4th inning and a stolen base. Beauty ranging back. 2 away. 2 outs here in the 6th for the Rangers. Improve your on-bus percentage. Riding's easy. Just ask our rider's guide, available at soundtransit.org. Pitch number 100 coming up for Felix with 2 outs here in the 6th. And here's going to be Bobby Wilson. Felix has twice struck him out.
Let's see him strike him out again. Felix now at 185 strikeouts. He's able to finish this inning, no leave, with 196 innings pitched.
Strike 1.
Oh, 2 more starts after this one. Definitely get the 200 innings. Get 200 strikeouts. It'll be 7 years in a row if he can do that.
Get this game today, it'll be 18, and he'll have 2 more chances to get to 20. His career best is 19.
Another good curveball.
Bradley Boyes 1-2. One-two pitch here to Wilson. 1-2. Felix scored for the put away. That one's full.
Tried to get him to chase the curveball down off the plate. He really wants to get this strikeout. Drew Stubbs waiting on deck.
5 strikeouts, 4 walks today for Felix. Giving up 2 runs on 4 hits, stranded 5 runners. 3-2 pitch to Bobby Wilson. Runner goes. Almost hit him, walked him. That's the 5th walk.
And Lloyd McClendon going to make a trip out to the mound and take Rob Nodine with him. Didn't say anything from Felix that he was hurt.
Just want to make sure.
Yeah. They went out earlier in the ball game.
Josh Hamilton's going to pinch hit for Drew Stubbs. And now Rob Nodine doing all the talking.
He's going to take. Yeah, he takes the ball from him, going to the bullpen.
Leaves with the lead. 5 walks, 5 strikeouts, an 8-2 lead. We'll be right back. And coming into pitch, Joe Beimel. Hey, Joe, lift up your head. Joe, my man. Guess what? They love you, but you're not the guy they were looking for. Cool, no problem.
Tony Zick. Me? Yeah, you.
You got a little interval training in there. Likes the starting pitching. A look here with Felix and Holland. Felix got the better of it today.
Felix giving up just the 4 hits. Both of them with 5 walks today. Didn't expect to see that. Felix, of course, the 2 runs. He is responsible for the 2 base runners that are out there. 105 pitches for Felix. And Tony Zick will take over. 6 appearances for Tony. ERA just over 4. Just 8 2/3, but he does have 10 strikeouts. Good fastball. He'll be in the mid to upper 90s with his fastball. Has some run to it, too. He can get on the hands of the righties. Mix in a slider.
He's ready to go, and he's going to face pinch hitter Josh Hamilton. And from coming off September 10th knee scope. Josh pinch hit in the 9th in Friday's Mariner 3-1 win. And he struck out. Tom Wilhelmsen K'd him with a 2-2 pitch. Here's Zick against Hamilton. A couple of runners aboard. 1, Josh.
Good fastball in the inside corner at 95 miles an hour.
And 1. Strike 2 to Hamilton. Back with the Rangers for a second time. Just his 42nd game. Oh, Tony Zick, he's looked good with a fastball. Limited appearances since the call-up. Strike 3 called. Good work. No runs, no hits, no errors. 2 left. To the 7th inning we go. Felix in line for the victory. Mariners lead at 8-2. Fireworks night features a parade of prize giveaways all game long, from airline tickets to flat screen TVs. And thanks to T-Mobile, an Apple iPad Air 2 will be given away every inning. Then stick around post game for a fantastic fireworks show. So visit mariners.com/fan for tickets. A couple of changes in Jeff Bannister's defensive setup. Will Venable moves from left field to center field. And Joey Gallo's the new left fielder.
And Logan Morrison will get his first at bat. Came on as a pinch runner for Mark Trumbo. Rangers have the shift on with Logan hitting.
Second inning of work for Nick Martinez. Time called. A lot of people have been feeding Lomo that pitch this last few weeks.
Yeah, change up down out of the strike zone. You throw him the fastball, throw it inside. Back in there again. A slider that time under his hands.
Morrison to be followed by Smith and Jones. 2-2. No count. Boy, we've had a lot of pitches in this ball game.
Yeah, it seems like there's been a lot of full counts in this game.
Man.
Seth Smith waiting on deck.
Three-two. Andrews. One out. We'll bring up Seth Smith. 1 for 3 today. Strikeout looking. Bounced into a double play. Single to left. Strike one. Smith taking a look at Nick Martinez for the first time. Beimel continues to throw.
You have some left-handers do up Venable, Chu, and Fielder, so he was probably going to pitch the bottom of the 7th.
Smitty's gone. 2 outs.
Bring up James Jones. Just came into the game playing center field now. This will be his first at bat. Stephen Romero ended up getting the start in center field. First time he's ever started in center. After the Mariners ended up getting the lead, Lloyd McClendon making some defensive changes, putting Morrison in the game and Jones.
Ball 2. There's a 2-0 pitch. Nice snag by Martinez. Well done. A 2-3 inning. Beimel will come in and stay in for at least the batter. Here he comes again. His second entrance of the day. Can't say that every contest. All right, Brad, thank you. So Joe B will get a chance to pitch in this ball game as we go to the bottom of the 7th inning.
47 appearances for Joe, 4.29 ERA, 20 strikeouts in 42 innings. Opponent's hitting .277 against him. The 3 left-handers, top of the lineup. Venable, Chu, and Fielder due up.
Couple of ground outs to Cano, a walk and a stolen base for Will today. Seager in on the grass at third. Just joining us, Mariners. They're down 1-0 after Mitch Moreland homer in the 2nd inning. Top of the 4th, Mariners get a couple. One on a wild pitch and a Cano RBI single. Big inning was the 5th. 11 men to the plate, 6 runs, 6 hits. 2-run double for Seager, 3-run homer Cano, and a home run by Goody. Meanwhile, Felix pitched into the 6th inning. Apparently had maybe a physical or medical problem, and they took him out, but he is the pitcher of record for the Mariners. He can win it, can't lose it.
Probably some sort of discomfort. He didn't seem overly concerned about it. They didn't want to take any chances. Danny Farquhar getting loose in the pen.
Two and two. Venable.
There's Danny. Really been pitching well lately.
He's had about 4 or 5 consecutive outstanding performances. Final 2 and 2 to Will Venable. Two pitch. Strike 3 call. 1 down here in the 7th. Good start for Joe Bible. Shin-Soo Choo will be the next hitter. Hey, make sure you get your hands on the latest and greatest Mariners Moose poster. They're free to all youngsters at Kids Appreciation Day, presented by Ivers and Kid Valley on Sunday, October 4th. Great prizes, surprises, mascots, and more that afternoon. So grab your tickets right now at Mariners.com. That'll be the last day of the 2015 season. Breaking ball for a strike. Chu with a ground out to Cano and 2 walks.
Yeah, he's hitless today, but he's still reached base a couple of times. That's how hot he's been.
His on base percentage, not taking a hit. Easy one hop to Seager. 2 outs. And that'll bring up Prince Fielder. He's 0 for 3. Strikeout looking. Fly to left and a comebacker to Felix.
And the Mariners will put the shift on. Something they've done throughout this series with Fielder hitting. See the defensive alignment in his first at bat of the game. He actually tried to bunt. Ended up fouling it off.
One of their blowout wins against Houston earlier this week. I saw him score during a commercial break, and I looked down at my iPad, and he was scoring with the ball, scoring from first. So I saw him the other day. Dude, I didn't know you could run that fast. He had the biggest smile. He says, hey, you know, do what you got to do. But he was at full tilt. It's impressive. Jones on the case. Joe Bimel, good inning. 1, 2, 3. Let's go to the 8th, and the Mariners lead 8-2. Texas Rangers, Dave Sims, Mike Blowers, Root Sports Crew. Good to have you with us. Terrific offensive couple of innings. The 4th and the 5th for the Mariners. They got 8 runs on 8 hits. Coming up, CenturyLink, what's next? Kansas City is in store. We've got Iwakuma. This started off there in the Kansas City Ball Club, defending American League champions, closing in on clinching that division. A huge lead. Here's Sucre. Lead it off.
Talking about it earlier, and they have a number of pitchers that have struggled this year. Ventura, who was going to pitch on Wednesday, obviously he can hit 100 miles an hour, but a 4.40 ERA. He's pitched better lately. Guthrie over 5.5, and another base hit for Sucre. How about that?
Nice. Good for him. Good work today behind the plate. He threw out Stubbs at second base, who strayed too far on a bunt attempt. A double to left center field in the 3rd. Got a sacrifice down in the 5th, and now a base hit here in the 8th.
And Edgar chuckling about it, having a good time.
It's his 3rd multi-hit ball game.
Nice day for him.
Top of the order in Marte.
Marte 1 for 3. Also has a walk, scored a run.
Scored from first on the double by Kyle Seager in the 5th inning. Two and one. Odor bobbles, and he'll take the out at first. Lindor was trying to start the fourth double play turned against the Mariners today.
And Jeff Bannister, slow walk out of the dugout. Oh, we're going to have another pitching change. They have a left-hander getting loose in the pen.
And that's what he's going to do. Andrew Faulkner will take over upon our return. Mariners lead 8-2. Twitter Tuesday, you're going to have 5 chances to win exciting prizes during the Mariners broadcast. We'll be posting questions. We want to hear from you, so be sure to watch and follow us on Twitter at RootsSports_NW. For giveaway rules, visit us at rootsports.com.
Andrew Faulkner going to take over for the Rangers. 6 appearances on the air, ERA just over 4, only 6 2/3 for him, but he has 6 strikeouts. Opponent's hitting .231, and he will face Kyle Seager, who's having a great day. Kyle 3 for 4, a couple of doubles. He's scored twice and driven in 2.
3 consecutive hits, all to the pull side for Kyle Seager.
Chance to drive in another run with Sucre out at second base. Mariners today 4 for 11 with runners in scoring position.
Breaking ball for a strike. Update on Felix Hernandez. Stiffness in his pitching elbow. Cautionary measure. Take him out of the ball game. He will, I repeat, he will make his next start.
Good news.
Seager deep to right, but 2 in his tracks. Comes in a step. Just missed it. 2 outs.
Bring up Nelson Cruz. He's been on base 3 times, a couple of walks and a base hit. Scored 2 runs.
Might be his last bat in this ballpark for this season. Leaving an uptick.
Why not? It's like Danny Farquhar is going to take over for Joe Bynum.
And they're not going to let him have that opportunity. He's going to walk for the 3rd time, 2nd time intentionally.
That's okay, because that man right there is having a day. 2 for 3, including his 17th home run on the year. He's already driven in 4.
Mr. Cano in a position to say, oh yeah? Do you want a piece of me? The runners at first and second, 2 outs here in the 8th. Rangers got a run in the second, 1 in the 4th. Mariners 2 in the 4th, 6 in the 5th inning. Cano in the 4th, an RBI single to right. 5th inning, 3-run homer to right. Strike 1 from Faulkner. 3rd pitcher out of the pen today. One. See him jump on this 2-1 offer.
Had a good fastball to hit right in the middle of the plate at 93.
Two and two, 2 out, 2 on here. Good breaking ball strikes him out. That'll do it. Mariners strand 2 in the 8th, but lead 8-2. Texas in the rubber match of this series. 33,307 on hand. We take a look at the Mariners calendar. Brought to you by Sleep Country USA. Day off tomorrow. And then 3 games in Kansas City. We'll see the Angels next weekend. Come home for Houston and the Athletics. And that'll put a ribbon on the 2015 season. Seemed like we just started.
Just left Peoria.
Really? Next year we leave Peoria, we come here to open up the season.
Danny Farquhar going to take over for the Mariners. 37 appearances. ERA is high for Danny, but he's pitched much better than that in his last 5 outings. His opponent's hitting .259. He's given up 6 home runs this year. Good fastball, low to mid 90s. He's in a cutter, 12-6 curveball, occasional changeup. Look at the middle of the order. It'll be Beltre, Moreland, and Odor due up.
Danny's fastball command has been much improved. His pitch fouled off by Beltre.
That was really causing him problems at the beginning of the year.
Remember, even in spring training down in Peoria.
And he kept trying different things, just wasn't working for him. Had to make a couple of trips back to AAA, but really thrown the ball well lately. Good to see.
0-2 to Beltre. Ball 2 strikes to Beltre. Adrian 3 for 4 last night. Drove in 3. Full-bodied swing there, 1-2. Amazing to throw his back out. He took such a big swing.
Then he keeps trying to get that high fastball by him. You can see him all in the tracer, right at the top of the zone.
On 2 strikes. Put it in play. Backhanded by Marte. Flips over to Morrison. One down here in the 8th. Moreland a homer. Ground out the first and a walk today. Tanner Scheppers is throwing in the Texas bullpen. Two balls, 1 strike.
He doesn't seem to be throwing his cutter as much. He didn't throw any of them to Beltre, and last pitch, another good fastball at 93 miles an hour off the outside corner. That was the cut fastball.
Yep, it had a good bite to it, didn't it?
And it was located well. You can see it on the tracer, right on the inside corner.
So Gray upset with himself for not holding on to that. Swing and a miss. 2 outs in the 8th.
Cut fastball just off the outside corner at 90 miles an hour.
There's a Baruch Ned Odor, 1 for 3 today. Got a 4th inning triple. Scored on the Andrus RBI in the 4th.
"13 pitches, 10 strikes for Danny."
Lock on.
Like a changeup. Pretty good one, too. Down out of the strike zone. Able to get him to chase it. How about a good curveball right here? Hasn't thrown the 12-6 curveball yet.
0-2 pitch. It did go. Tag applied. That'll do it for the Rangers in the 8th. All Mariners. 8-2. Franklin Gutierrez. What a run he's had.
He's homered in 4 games in a row. He now has 15 home runs. Another opposite field home run for him. And he'll lead things off here in the 9th inning. Face Tanner Scheppers, our throwing right-hander.
That home run that Goody hit in the 5th that followed on the heels of Cano. He had just hit a 3-run homer. Goody was the next batter.
For Scheppers, 40 appearances on the year, high ERA, 5.7 ERA. Opponent's hitting .248. He's given up 6 home runs. A lot of walks, 22 walks and 36 in the 3rd.
It's not good. 1-1.
And he hit him.
And hit him.
.94-mile-an-hour fastball with some run to it. Goes right off the elbow.
Going to get O'Malley's going to come out and run for Goody. And he'll stay on and play left field in the 9th inning. Great job by Goody. Makes plays out in the outfield. 15 home runs. Morrison leans on one. Right field. Base of the fence. O'Malley will get the stop sign at 3rd. Lomo to 2nd with a double. He wasn't messing around. First good pitch he could hit. Oh man, he crunched it. Nice job.
See him aggressive on the fastballs. He lined it down into the corner. 93 miles an hour, middle away.
almost 15th double of the season. Brings up Seth Smith.
Tom Wilhelmsen getting loose in the pen.
Big Tom getting ready. Smitty deep to right. Going back is Chu on the track. And he makes the catch. Tagging is O'Malley. He'll score to make it 9-2. Lomo goes to third. RBI for Seth Smith is 41st. 9-2 Seattle.
Good play by Chu up against the wall. Another 5 feet and he has a home run. He'll pick up an RBI on the sacrifice fly.
Give it a good ride. James Jones. Two to Jonesy. Oh, 2 strikes. Chopper goes foul. Swing and a miss. 2 down. That'll bring up Jesus Sucre. 2 for 3 with a sacrifice. Got down the bunt in the 5th inning. One. Gary Collins still out there. He did not have a good day.
Tough time commanding his fastball today.
Shoes right there. That'll do it. Mariners get a run on sacrifice fly by Seth Smith. Lead is 9-2. Logan Kinsing out there. Looks like he may get the call if it's not Tom Wilhelmsen. 9-2 Mariners to the bottom of the 9th. All right, thanks, fellas.
For Logan, 9 2/3, 8 strikeouts, 6 walks. Opponent's hitting just 176 against him. Sean O'Malley will stay in the game and play left field.
Logan's first hit is going to be Ryan Strasburger. He's pinch hitting for Elvis Andrus. Marte for out number 1. Bring up Bobby Wilson with 1 out. Bobby struck out twice and walked today. There's 2 runs in the 4th and a big 5th inning. 6 runs in that inning. 11 men to the plate. 6 runs on 6 hits. Felix had to leave with some elbow issues. He will make his next start. Stiffness in his pitching elbow. Back in the count at 2-1. Fly ball. Right field and deep. Smitty going back on the track. 2 down.
Well, gave that a pretty good ride. I don't expect him to hit it that far. That was more towards the end of the bat. Good play.
Like it too. Yeah. And now left fielder Joey Gallo. Strike 1 from Logan Kensing. Two.
A couple of good fastballs on the outside corner. Probably go a little further away, see if he can get him to chase it. Super wants him to elevate the fastball this time.
Mile high pop.
Fastball just above the belt. Probably go a little bit higher.
There's the 0-2. Kensing with the 1-2 pitch. Look out. Look out. Oh, baby. Here we go with the 1-2. Swing and a miss. That's the ball game. Mariners win it 9-2. Take the series 2 games to 1. And they finish up the season series against the Texas Rangers, winning 12 times against 7 losses. They go 6-3 in this building. That's impressive.
And Felix gets his 18th win of the year. Still a couple of starts for Felix, so 18 wins total. And big day for Robinson Cano, driving in 4 runs, including his 17th home run of the year. Kyle Seager with 3 more hits, and he drives in 2.
Really good job as Felix becomes the winningest pitcher in the American League. One by Jake Arrieta of the Cubs. That'll do it for us. We have tomorrow off. Talk to you on the radio.